Hi everybody, I'm DJ Sixsmith. Welcome to Sit Down. We're talking about The Chi today, one of my favorite shows on TV. Yolonda Ross, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Very good. Thanks so much for coming in.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So you guys are in season 2. You just got the announcement that season 3 is coming, which is great news for everybody.
Yes, we are coming back. Yeah.
And that's big time in TV because you never know season to season if stuff is going to hit.
I've heard some bad stories. Yes. It's like, come to set. Oh, we're
canceled?
not working. Yeah, it's like, we're done? Okay. Yeah, no, we're coming back, and I'm happy to get back to Chicago and get into these new stories, whatever they may be.
Definitely. So how much time had you spent in Chicago before this whole thing?
None. I've been stuck in the airport twice.
Oh, wow.
But that's it. I'd never been out in the city before.
So you had heard bad stories about some other people's experiences. I'm sure this has plenty of good stories with what you've been able to encounter so far.
Yeah, wait, you mean bad stories in Chicago?
No, I'm saying like we were basically saying like people get their shows canceled, right?
Yes.
This is a show that's thriving, and also from the outside at least, looks like you guys have a great time making this show.
No, we do. We do. It's thriving, and we have a great time. I mean, being able to tell stories in the way that this show puts them out. It's a great experience, and then our cast, you know, everybody's really cool. So we have some new people on board this season 2, and it's been exciting.
Yeah, definitely. And we were talking off camera, like you have the table read, and then you won't see something until it actually comes on TV, which is cool.
So I'm literally watching it like everybody else, and I'm live tweeting with everybody. I swear I'm probably one of the most vocal ones because I'm just like, what, you know.
Well, people love that when you guys are engaging with it too.
But it's like watching TV with family, you know, on Sunday nights. So it's fun, and I look forward to getting in front of the TV, got something to eat right here, got my phone, got my computer, my thumbs get tired, so I can just like type. But it's exciting doing that kind of thing with this show because everybody has something to say about some character, about some storyline, because what's the word? You know, they see themselves in these characters.
Oh, you
or
absolutely
they see somebody
can.
they know in these characters.
Even when we were talking about off camera, like seeing your parents and yourself. Like that's a huge thing with Jada and with Emmett, like, and for everybody else in their lives in general.
Well, in this case, you know, now we have Darnell, which is Emmett's father on the show, back in the picture.
Right.
And it, you know, I was saying it to you. It's so interesting to see where he gets things from. And even watching the show like a couple of times myself, I saw things in Jada that Emmett does, you know, and it was just very interesting.
Yeah, definitely. So what was it like preparing for the role of Jada?
Jada was probably one of the easiest characters I've ever done because she is the most like me. So one thing that I will say about it, when I read for it, the writing just came out. It wasn't difficult to remember the lines because they were things I already would say, or my sisters would say, and in the way that we say them. So that says a lot about the writing because it's real.
It's great writing.
Yeah, no, it's. Some of the lines, I'm just like, wow.
This is spot on.
Yeah, I mean, with the little kids, with everybody. There wasn't a lot of preparing. Yeah. Yeah, it was just remain truthful.
Well, that's the cool thing about the show is like it's writing for black women, black men, black kids. Like those aren't easy voices to get. White police officers, same sort of thing. You know, it's like very unique in how the show tackles certain issues, but is just really spot on with the way that they portray certain things, I feel like.
Well, and it also just goes to show that letting people or allowing people to write for themselves instead of having someone else write for black characters, let black people write for black characters.
Right, or men writing for women in the past.
Exactly. Yeah. Just let each group write for themselves. If you're capable, why not? You know, why would you hold somebody back from that? It just makes the voice more authentic.
Definitely. And, you know, I feel like the phrase, you've never seen anything like this on TV, gets thrown around a lot. But when
That's for real here.
Yeah, when I watch your show, there is not another show like your show. And you already had that coming into it, but then it's a great show on top of that. So when did you feel like this really started to cut through and make some noise?
Well, it cut through last year when it, you know, first premiered. It was interesting to, it's like I've been in a lot of things already as an actor, but people recognize me from that show, Lena's show, the show about Chicago, the show with real stories about us. that was coming out a lot. So as the show just, you know, went through its season, it just gained momentum.
Definitely. And I love the whole kaleidoscopic thing you guys had going on, where it was like, yeah, we know what's going on with the kids, but it's like your storyline and then Jason's storyline with his character. So what has been the most fascinating part for you to see it grow from season 1 to season 2?
I felt from season 1 to season 2, they laid the groundwork last year, but this year I feel like they're delving into the characters themselves. So we're getting to know the personalities more, and not just this story, that story, that story. We're getting into how people tick, you know, and what they've been through already, and you know, just all the personalities, getting deeper into them, and elevating the stories. So that's what I feel is happening.
Right, and that's the cool thing about season 2, where season 1, it's like you're just coming out swinging with the big issues, you know?
But exactly.
But you needed to, just to kind of lay that groundwork.
Yep, and get the people in, because it's like people know, I mean, people's feeling about Chicago, Black people get shot.
Yep.
That's it.
So, and you're going to show that in the show, but there's much more to the conversation.
Exactly. It's the how, it's the why, and that these situations are not, you know, these massive crazy things that happen. It's this little thing that happened that then caused this, that then caused that. And then how that trickles into everybody's lives around these people.
And I think it's a really interesting time for this show because, like you said, with Chicago, people will come out and try and put that city in one sentence, right? And just say, oh, there's a lot of gun violence. But guess what?
And then that's it.
And that's it. But now we're in a world where we can have the conversation, why is this happening? It's a generational thing, first of all. Or, hey, there's really an issue in this part of the city with police and people on the streets too. So there's just many different pockets to it. And I thought one of the best parts of the show was just giving it 8 episodes to really just breathe and understand like all the different little intricacies to it.
And that's exactly it. And how each one of those little, you know, intricacies, they are in everybody's world. You know, it's not just in that area. This, you know, then does something over here, then does something over there, that they all are kind of intertwined.
So you've worked with a lot of people during your career. When you think about Lena Waithe, what makes her so special and talented in your mind?
You know what? With Lena, oh my gosh, I literally was just talking about this morning with Lena. She can be so articulate and so to the point and truthful and funny and everything all in 15 seconds, you know? And with our show, I feel that comes through because it's heavy, it's fun, it's light, it's hopeful, it's all these things, but it's not like a show that's just one thing. It's multiple things, all firing at the same time. And that's how I feel Lena is. And I think it's a great thing that, you know, she comes from a certain time and she's, you know, as far as like youthfulness and the time she came up in and is in as far as entertainment right now, because let's just say 10 years ago, different story in our business. This show's
not come out at all, if not even in the same way.
No,
you know?
I mean, it probably would have had a harder time. You know, right now there's so many things opening up and firing off, and I do feel it's youth pushing.
Totally.
You know, so.
And that's the thing, it's like the old guard of Hollywood, the new crop coming in and just ready to kind of change things. Like this is normal culture for people of Lena's age, of your age, you know? We're waiting for this, but still, it takes time.
Because I mean, we've been Black in neighborhoods forever.
Absolutely,
so
nobody's giving you the runway to tell that story.
No.
And for you guys to tell that story too, not somebody else to tell that story.
Exactly.
And that's a game changer.
Yeah, it's a huge game changer. It just changes the tone of what's out there. Totally. You know, and it makes it authentic, like you said.
Yeah, absolutely. So you mentioned how Sundays are still appointment television, which is cool because it's like, for Showtime especially, The Chi, Billions, Game of Thrones on HBO, like it must be cool for you to still have that little pocket of the industry, whereas like everybody's kind of streaming and doing their own thing in a way too.
You know, it's so funny. I appreciate it in that way, that you have something to anticipate. You're waiting for Sunday. You know, a lot of people are like, oh yeah, I just want to stream it. Why don't you guys just put it out? It's like, no, you don't want to just eat everything all at the same time and then like you're done. It's like, it gives you something to wait for and anticipate and you know, talk to other people about. And then, you know, everybody joins in on Sunday and watches the show together. I miss that. I miss that with TV. I miss that with films. You know, I feel like too much information is put out already, where we do need to, or we should pull back some, because we don't wait for anything.
I know, it's a crazy time because there's so much stuff out there.
Yeah.
So trying to watch everything is just impossible.
Yes.
And then at the same time, it's like, if you were to binge season 1 of The Chi, like there's so much going on.
But you know I did.
Of course.
You know, getting ready for 2.
Sure.
Yeah.
From your perspective, like it makes total sense. You got to prepare, you get back in that mind frame. For like somebody like me, I'm going to binge those 8, there's so much that happens there. You need some time to let it breathe and like emotionally let it register a little bit.
Exactly. And you know, if you're just going from one to the next to the next to the next, it's like, it's that watching it a few times, you know, throughout the week when you have some time to kind of like, oh, I didn't get that joke. Oh, he did that and then that happened. Oh, so that's what that was. You know, like seeing these little things that maybe you missed the first time because you were too busy tweeting. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. So, yeah.
So what is, let it breathe. So what has been the most interesting part of the whole experience for you?
Well, learning Chicago, being, like I had never been a series regular. I've been, you know,
you bounced around with a bunch of different things,
Yeah, so this was a whole new thing for me. And to be at the beginning of this family, you know, of actors and characters on the show, and creating them from the ground up. So that's completely new to me.
That's awesome. Yeah, and it goes to show that it takes time to build out a career in acting. You know, it's not an overnight thing. For some people, it certainly
like
can
20
be.
years, but seriously, it's like, you know, people know you from things, and people name things that I've done like 2000. Like that was a little while ago.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad, I'm happy.
It's cool that people are going back, but you're like, wow, I've come a long way since then.
I've done a lot of stuff in between that time, and it just, I'm still here.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of us, we're still here, and that's the blessing of it.
Consistency, that's the name of the game, the toughest thing.
Yeah, it is. It is.
So when you think about your career, what are some other things you're really proud of in terms of shows, films that you've worked on, etc.?
I was really proud of The Get Down. I love being on that show, working with Baz Luhrmann. Stranger Inside, my first movie. Still, you know, as much as I love Jada, Treasure, she's my favorite character still. And I loved working with Angela Bassett and Whitney.
That must have been great, yeah.
It was, and being a part of Whitney's life and legacy, you know, in film and television, and also being like a movie of the week, because I grew up on those, and I kind of like have a little thing for them. You know, it's like a little soft spot. And Antoine Fisher, Denzel, like his directorial debut. So I actually really like working with actors who are directors. Yeah, because I feel like
they get it.
Yeah, that's it.
They've been in those shoes.
They know how we communicate. They know how to get the things short, you know, in a short amount of time, you know, as far as the shot and that kind of thing. So we've been around a minute and know how things work.
Yeah, totally. So we hear so much about Denzel on the screen. What was he like as a director?
On it, yeah, he was great. I mean, he just knew what he wanted, got it, did it, knew how to get it from us, and you know, and he acted in it as well. I thought he was wonderful to work with. I'd love to work with him again. Yeah, on one of those August Wilson play movies.
Yeah.
Just
sign you up.
Yeah,
give Yolonda a call. Come on.
Hello. What's up, Mr. Denzel?
Speaking of unpacking things, I mean, Whitney Houston's life.
Yeah.
That must have been wild to unpack
It was really interesting being in those things that you know, like I think it was the Soul Train Awards, like I remember that performance.
Watching it.
Yeah, so it's like it's weird being in those events that happened in time that you remember, but then you're playing somebody in them.
Right.
So
that's the cool thing about now is that we're doing shows and films from not too long ago and then very long ago, but just reliving those moments that you may have lived through is a pretty cool thing.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
So when people check out season 2 of The Chi, what do you want them to walk away thinking?
You know, that people are not one-dimensional. You know, there's many parts. We are layered people, no matter what. You know, no matter what the first layer that you are met with, people have a lot to them. So don't judge.
And Chicago is not a one-dimensional city either.
It is not. It is not. The one thing that is consistent is there's really good food there and really great art.
Where are the go-to spots?
Oh my gosh, I lived at the Ambassador Hotel at Booth 1. I love that place so much. And the Chicago Institute of Art was always there. Those were like my go-to spots, arts and for food.
Perfect city for that.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, Yolanda, great to meet you.
Thank you.
Thanks for
So
coming
nice
in.
to meet you.
You can catch The Chi Sundays on Showtime. Thanks so much for tuning in. See you next time here on The Sit Down.